Good evening and welcome to 365 Days of Amazing Stories with Theo Mera. Here we are on day 23 of 2024, and I'm continuing the story of the Buddha Gautama. Now you might remember that Siddhartha Gautama, after 6 years of punishing his body, of extreme austerities, had laid upon that grassy spot and remembered the one time that he had sat and been in a state of samadhi. He realized that he needed to take nourishment, that it was not through austerities that he would gain his enlightenment. And as if planned by heaven, Sujata from a neighboring village brought him a bowl of milk rice. And after taking this nourishment, he felt strengthened and energized, enough that he stood up and, propping himself up on his staff, made his way to the Naranjara River. Now there he entered the river and washed off years of accumulated dirt and sweat. The water below him was, tainted from everything that came off of his body. And when he had refreshed himself in this way, he proudly strode out of the water as if a king lion. He reached down and he picked up his begging bowl and he said, "If this is the day of my supreme enlightenment, may my bowl float upstream." And he threw his bowl out upon the waves of the water. And the bowl, it forged its way upstream. Now within that river was a whirlpool. I believe it was called the Kala Najaraja. This whirlpool led down to the kingdom of Najaraja, the king of the snakes that lived the bottom of rivers and lakes, but this was the ultimate king of the Nagas, Nagaraja. The bowl, it sailed up to this whirlpool and then descended into the whirlpool. And there it came to rest with a row of similarly placed and designed bowls. As it came to rest, it clinked against the bowl next to it. And it caught Nagaraja's attention. And he looked up and he said, yesterday a Buddha was born, but today a Buddha will be realized. And from under the river, there was chanting that took place and singing and celebrating. Siddhartha Gautama, he strode up to the bo tree that was near the banks of the Naranjara River, the Naranjara River. And there is where he met the grass cutter, Sophia, who presented him the 8 bundles of freshly cut grass, which he placed there in front of the bo tree and sat down in full lotus, fixing his attention on his ultimate goal, supreme enlightenment. Now, as he did so, all sorts of horrible and fearful and beautiful and divine visions came to him. It was as if he was being tempted in every which way. And at the same time, visions appeared before him that filled him with foreboding. But he sat and he took them all in. He willed himself not to be altered by any of what came to him. They did not stop. Now Mara, the ultimate tempter, sent his 3 daughters to tempt Siddhartha Gautama. They presented themselves to him, promising him the greatest of pleasures, presenting their perfectly formed bodies to him. They cooed at him, sang songs, danced before him. Siddhartha Gautama kept his resolve. No matter what they would do, no matter what whispers they whispered in his ears, he sat firm and resolved like a mighty stone, unmoved. Mara called his army forth. His army was hideous in so many ways. Odd creatures with yellow teeth and blood dripping with their fingers, hands like spiders, lions' heads, snake heads, fish heads on furry bodies with 15 legs or 10 legs or 4 legs or upright on 2 legs and long extended arms and tongues that seemed like they would wrap themselves around Siddhartha Gautama. In their hands they carried weapons, which they threw at him. None would hit him. It was as if he had a field around him which they either bounced or deflected off of. Siddhartha Gautama was confronted with everything that you could ever have imagined. He could see all the possibilities that lay before him, every incarnation that he had or could have, every form that he might take, from a worm to a mighty elephant to a one-celled body to some sea creature. He could see them all in a moment, in a glimpse. But he sat on, fixed his focus on the ultimate, and will leave Siddhartha Gautama there. Perhaps you too can reflect on all the possibilities that lie before us in this existence, what we have been, what we could become, what we might be, and how we might get there. How does this whole creation work? Okay, hope you enjoyed. Have a good rest of your day or evening.